It's going. All right. So this is your first coaching session. I want to know your goals and your hopes for the speech, as well as maybe tell me your topic.
Well, I think with every speech, the two goals are, what's the point and why does it matter? And I was trying to tailor my speech into relating to the audience. So my topic is embracing your singleness, like being single and like it's okay to be lonely. So I wanted my speech to incorporate to people who are single, but then I was like trying to figure out a way to reach to people who are in relationships or even engaged or stuff like that. So I was trying to end the stigma around if you're single, the stereotypes with it, like you're high maintenance, you aren't like appealing to the opposite sex or same sex, whatever. So I guess with this speech, I was trying to just kind of end the stereotype of being single means lonely.
All right, whenever you are ready, Olivia.
Okay. Hello, and thank you for having me today. We have spent a whole semester together, so I think I'm ready to share about my love life. It's nothing too exciting, but here it is. This is a picture of my first kiss and my first love, and also my ex-boyfriend. For the sake of privacy, we will refer to him as Nathan. We began dating my sophomore year in high school and lasted for 3.5 years. It was truthfully a very loving relationship and we have amazing memories. In this picture, we went to San Francisco together multiple times, traveled a lot, had great memories, definitely a high school sweetheart. But then I found out he was actually a drug dealer, so that relationship ended. Then, while in college, there was another guy. For the sake of his privacy, we will call him Andrew. He was a great guy, easy to get along with, and even my parents liked him. Until I found out he was seeing another girl behind my back. There went that relationship. Now, I am 21 years old and single, but I say that with a lot of pride. But can I just go home for family holidays and not be bombarded by my grandma and aunts asking when I'm going to get a husband, when my grandma's going to get her future grandchildren? It's a true story, too. To better understand my audience, please raise your hand if you are single, meaning you are not in a relationship or committed to someone right now. Now raise your hand if you are currently in a relationship, committed to someone. It's really crazy to think we are all in our early 20s, besides Mary, yet some of us are in completely different situations. Some of us found their significant others and currently have a ring on their left finger. Some are in committed relationships and maybe seeing where things go. Then there are some of us, like me, who are single and simply embracing life. I do not want this presentation to shame those who are in committed relationships. That is the furthest thing I ever want to do. However, I want this presentation to be a reminder for those who are single that it is perfectly acceptable to be alone. If you're in a relationship, please do not shame those of us who are single. It is a choice, I swear. I think in today's world, we are not reminded that it is acceptable to be single. So I want this presentation to remind my fellow classmates that not being in a relationship is acceptable and we should embrace it. For the most part, we choose to be single. Truthfully, this may come as a shock to some of you, but I do not have guys lining up at my door or in my Instagram DMs with a rose in their hand and chocolate cookie crumble ice cream in their other, and they are dying to date me. If anything, guys are approaching and asking if I could send them notes from last week. Some of us are single because we simply have not found the one we want to be with. Some do it for the benefits, like not having to share your side of the bed, one less user on your Netflix account. You can control the temperature of the room or the house. You don't have to share your food. In fact, you can cook for one or have more leftovers. And there are plenty more benefits, though. There is absolutely nothing wrong with realizing your worth. How did the stereotype of being single turn into you are high maintenance? Why can't the connotation of being single just means I haven't found my significant other yet, or I don't really want a significant other right now? Personally, for me, I have a lot going on in my life. I'm involved in school, I'm working on my studies. I don't have time for a boyfriend. I wanted to get a dog. My mom got me a plant. I can't even take care of the plant. Well, this woman literally got tired of being single and not finding the right guy, so she literally married herself. Honestly, after every breakup, this exact thought popped into my head. Being single is looked down upon, that many women stay in unhealthy relationships. Back to my drug-dealing boyfriend, Nathan, the end of our relationship was bumpy. I spent over 3 years with him, and he naturally turned into my security blanket. I struggled in school. He excelled. I did not want to attend college or even get a career, and he assured me he would take care of me. Who wouldn't want to get comfortable with that, right? Looking back, not sure how we would have survived off his side business, but you never know. When I decided I was ending the relationship, it was the biggest relief. Yet it took some time to come to terms with my loneliness. Being single is relying on yourself or really great friends for a lot more. Whether you're relying on them for that emotional or physical assistance that one partner once gave me. Being single is a time to understand you. Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have. That's a quote from Robert Holden. It really, really stuck with me. I'll read it again. Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have. I became so fascinated with it because it took me a while to understand. One has to learn to love themselves before they could ever let someone else love them. In my scenario, I relied on past boyfriends to provide that love. So when I was single, it was time to fall back in love with myself, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with loving yourself. I know, this is getting cheesy, but I'm really tired of being that resident assistant on campus and hearing my female residents in the resident hall complain that they're single. They complain they want a boyfriend to spend Valentine's Day with, take cute pictures, go to the movies, even take someone home, meet their parents. I get that feeling, but are you really in love or in love with the image of love? Like I said, I want this presentation to change the way we see someone not having a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I want being single to represent independence and patience as we wait for our special significant other later in life. My message to you all, make the choice that is best for you. Do not be a me and be with a drug dealer, unless you're into that type of scene. In that case, marry the drug dealer. However, you do not have any obligation to be with someone. Embrace your loneliness and not having the feeling of being tied down. If you are struggling with the idea of being single, whether you recently broke up with your significant other or you are tired of being single for a long period of time, I assure you, things will get better. I know we all say that, but I really do believe things do get better. Plus, that post-breakup glow is extremely real. Thank you for your time.
All right. How are we doing so far?
Okay, still going.
All right, that's good. All right, so I want to applaud you for taking on a personal topic of yours, as well as, are you going to be showing photos?
Yes.
Really, of you and your...
Yes. I did blur out the faces.
You did blur out the faces. Okay, well, I think that's really bold of you to go for that. I think some people would be embarrassed or worried to show their past relationships, especially since one of them seems to go to both states. So I commend you for that, and I'm impressed with this. You said your first time reading this, but you're still able to communicate like a conversation like tone toward the audience. So I wanna give you props for that. And I think one thing we're gonna work on over time is just getting it like pretty memorized and learning how to do more movements and such when you're talking. I know there's a lot of things that you'd probably be able to use with your hands a lot more, to use a lot of emphasis on things. Yeah. So I wrote down, I think it was like 3 card notes of things. So I wanted to go into just talking about just your intro first. I like, again, how you were talking about...
Sorry. There.
Okay. Yeah. Those two. I just want to go into how you just opened up with just hello, thank you for having me. I think we all want to see something a little more bold. I almost think even opening up with talking about, since we've all been here together for a semester, I think it's safe to tell you about my love life. I think would be more of a, like, nail to the head, or however you say that phrase. Because if you just say hello, thank you for having me, I think that's just kind of overdone. I think people have heard it before. They're like, oh, I've heard. Okay, what is she going to do again?
I think with that, though, like, because I watch TED Talks and they always say that, so I'm like, it's not a real TED Talk, but it is. So, yeah. That's why I always felt like,
Okay. So you're basing it off of just previous...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously all these are suggestions. Nothing is up for grabs. And then I wanted to talk about the fact your interactions. I liked how in the beginning you said, like, raise your hand about this and then go over just... I think that if you continue finding a way to interact with the audience, whether it would be asking them about maybe like at the end being like something about like being single, like raise your hand if you think being single is okay or something at the end. So you're just kind of like pulling back to the beginning. And addressing Mary's age. I don't know. I don't know if she'll find that funny. I mean, I know you're not addressing how old exactly she is, but I don't know if you were doing that for like humor purposes or what.
Yeah, I don't know why. It wasn't in my thing.
Okay. So maybe like don't say that.
Yeah.
I just think it was just kind of like there to sort of be funny, but it kind of came off like what? So try that. Try getting rid of that. And then I want to pause and then go back to your intro with those points I made about just cutting that beginning, just see how that sounds, and then just cutting it out with Mary's age and such. So go back and let's just hear that, and then I'll just start and stop you.
So the intro?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's turn this.
Hello.
Okay. Do you want me to start with the intro then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Without saying the hello, thank you for having me.
Okay. We have spent a whole semester together, so I think I'm ready to share about my love life. It's nothing too exciting, but here it is. This is a picture of my first kiss and first love, and also my ex-boyfriend. Shows a picture. For the sake of his privacy, we will call him Nathan. We began dating my sophomore year in high school and lasted for 3.5 years. It was truly a loving relationship, and we have amazing memories.
All right, pause. Is there a way I can tell, like, you sort of have an idea of what your first relationship was like? Is there a way you can put your laptop down and just kind of, like, tell us the story of what it was like?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that will, like, get you more into the audience. So, like, you just put it down for a second, just, like, tell me a little about it and see how it goes.
Okay. This is a picture of my first kiss and first love, and also my ex-boyfriend. For the sake of his privacy, we will call him Nathan. Okay. We began dating my sophomore year in high school for 3.5 years. It was truly a very loving and healthy relationship. We have amazing memories. We traveled a lot. In this picture, this is us in San Francisco. We went there multiple times. East Coast a little bit. Definitely my best friend at that point. All was going well. I get to college. We're very still committed to each other. And then I found out he was a drug dealer. So there went that relationship.
Okay, pause. I think you could pause maybe right after a drug dealer and just see, like, the audience's reaction.
Okay.
And then you don't have to, I think with your body language right now, you're still kind of like...
Okay, yeah, I wasn't really focused on that
I know. No, I know. I've seen you speak before. I know you can come at the audience being like, yo, hey, this is me. And this is also based on what she's asking us to do. So if I'm stopping and starting you, it's coming. It's because one, this is like what she wants, and two, this is just vital. And then, okay, so how'd you feel about that when you were?
Yeah, no, I liked it a lot better.
And is there a way with your hands? Like, I know you talk with your hands. I know I talk with my hands like I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I plan on having flashcards, but then I plan on, like, during the stuff I know, like a story that's not memorized. I can do that.
Are there points you feel in your speech that you could, like, pause, like, this is my boyfriend. This is us. This is us here. Is there moments you feel you'd be able to kind of, like, emphasize this moment to your audience?
Like different pictures?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Okay.
to do more blurring of the face, but
Okay, start at right before like something about the drug dealer part.
so I'm going to tell the story again?
Just like a line or two before that.
Okay.
Way, I just want to hear what that pause feels like.
Okay. So he was genuinely my best friend. Come to college. We're still very committed to each other. And then I realized he was actually a drug dealer. So there went that relationship.
That's good.
Then, while in college, there was another guy. For the sake of his privacy, we will call him Andrew. He was a great guy, easy to get along with. Parents really liked him. He even came home to my hometown. I went to meet his parents. It was a big deal. And then I found out he was seeing some other girls behind my back. There goes another relationship.
Pause. That was really good. I liked what you did. Again, repeating with that, like pause a second time. Keep going.
Okay. Now I am 21 years old and single. But I say that with pride. But can I just go home for one family holiday and not be bombarded by my grandma, aunts, and even cousins at this point asking why I'm single, when I'm going to find the one, when I'm going to get some kids in the family? It's all very true. I am dreading this year's Thanksgiving. Boom. Okay, is that fine?
Keep going.
To better understand my audience, I want everyone to raise your hand if you are single. You are not committed to anyone or tied down. Okay, good turnout. Now, please raise your hand if you are in a relationship or you have a significant other. Raise your hand. I really think it's crazy that we're all in our, early 20s, still pretty young, yet we're all in such separate areas of our lives. There are some who even have a ring on their left ring finger. There are some who are in relationships and just kind of seeing where things go. And then there's some like us who are just single and embracing that life. I do not want this presentation to shame those who are in committed relationships. That is the furthest thing I want to do. However, I want this presentation to be a reminder for those who are single that it is perfectly acceptable to be so.
Can you cut out the I don't want this relationship
I don't want this presentation.
Yeah, I don't want this presentation
to shame.
To shame people. Because that way you're explaining what you do want, not saying what you don't want.
True.
I think people want to hear what you do want to talk about, not what you don't want. So
Okay.
try saying just talking about I want this to be a reflection of or embrace the singleness.
Yeah. Okay.
So go like a sentence or two before that cut line.
Then there are some of us like me who are single and simply embracing life. I want this presentation to be a reminder for those who are single that it is perfectly acceptable to be alone. If you are in a relationship, please do not shame those who are single. It is a choice, for the most part. I think in today's world, we are not reminded that it is acceptable to be single. So I want this presentation to remind my classmates that not being in a relationship is acceptable and we should embrace it.
Do you have preview points or some reasons behind?
Nope.
Have you thought of putting in reasons why?
No, because my whole speech is all over the place. I can't narrow it down.
Okay, well, I think that will help, a little bit with your structure. The things I found when I was writing it down, your first point, it was why we...
Like the perks?
Why we choose to be single, and then there was some transition point about a woman marrying herself, which I kind of was
there's
confused.
a story, I was confused when I read it too. There's a story, like a news article, of a woman who literally married herself, and I want to put that on the screen.
Okay, so
like
we need to find a point in your speech to talk about that. I don't know if it transitioned that well within your first point.
I agree.
Or maybe you can talk about within that choosing to be single point, find a way to say there are people who are even going as so far as to marrying themselves because something about something relationships are too hard for them. And then point 2 was it's supposed to be a time to understand you.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the gist I was going at.
Okay, and then that's where you had a quote, and then you said it twice. I liked that.
Okay.
There's another thing you said about the whole love themselves. Try saying that again, and do that like second time slower, because I think again that like kind of will hit the audience when you say it twice. So can we actually go to point 2 where you're talking about time to understand you? And I just want to start with that. I was like right before the quote. So say that.
So like point 2. Okay.
Yes.
Hold on, I'm trying to find it. Number 1. Why can't the connotation? Okay, I feel like this is, because it like kind of talks about the end relationship and then the breakup and then like figuring it out. You know? Okay, I'll start reading. You tell me if it sounds like a point being made.
Okay.
Being single is looked down upon. That even so that many women stay in unhealthy relationships. Back to my drug dealing boyfriend, Nathan. The end of our relationship was bumpy. I spent over 3 years with him, and he naturally turned into my security blanket. I struggled in school. He excelled. I did not want to attend college or even get a career, and he assured me he would take care of me. Who wouldn't love that kind of security? Looking back, not sure how we would have survived off his, quote, side business earnings, but you never know.
Can you, when you said 3 years?
Yeah.
Can you say that like 3 years? Like you were in that view for 3 years. Like really emphasize that. And then you didn't want to go to school. He excelled. So once again, like doing the whole, emphasis. I did this, he did this.
Yeah.
I think that'll, again, leave a mark on like, this is what you went through, this is what he went through. And I don't think you need to say, quote, quote, side business. I think if you just say side business, I think they'll understand. So go back and maybe put your laptop down.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Being single is looked down upon. That many women stay in unhealthy relationships. Back to my drug-dealing boyfriend, Nathan. The end of the relationship was bumpy. I spent over 3 years with him, and he naturally turned into my security blanket. I struggled in school. He excelled. I did not want to attend college at all, or even get a career, and he took care of me and said we would be fine. Looking back, not sure how we would have survived off his side business earnings, but you never know. When I decided I was ending the relationship, it was the biggest relief. Yet it took some time to come to terms with my loneliness. Being single is relying on yourself or your good friends for a lot more than you realize, whether relying on them for that emotional or physical assistance that someone once gave you. Being single is a time to understand you. Your relationship with yourself. Oh, hold on. Okay. Being single is a time to understand you. This is a quote. Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have. Quoted from Robert Holden. I'll say that one more time. Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have. I was really fascinated with this quote because it took me a while to really kind of understand it. One has to learn to love themselves before they can ever let someone love them. You have to see. You have to see those positive attributions, and then when someone says that they see it too, you believe them and you know it. In my scenario, I relied on past boyfriends to provide that love. So when I was single, it was time to fall back in love with myself, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with loving yourself. I know, this is getting really cheesy, but I am really tired of being that RA and hearing my female residents in my resident hall complain that they are single. They complain they want a boyfriend to spend Valentine's Day with, meet their family, do fun things with. But then I started to realize, are we really in love or in love with the idea of love?
Buzz, can you not assume that people think your thing is cheesy? Because you're doing really well. I think if you assume the audience think it is, then they'll be like, why are you assuming things about us?
Yeah.
I like where you're going, though, with embracing and loving yourself and loving that singlehood. The thing about the love themselves I asked if you could say that again, that I know you sort of like rephrased it. Can you try saying that one again?
Okay, yeah.
So it was you said it was like after your quote you said some things and then you said
Okay, yeah.
So go like a sentence before that.
Okay, so I'm going to read. I'm really fascinated with this quote because it took me a while to understand. One has to learn to love themselves before they could ever let someone else love them.
Say it again.
Okay. One has to learn to love themselves before they could ever let someone else love them. Want me to say it twice?
Yeah. So I think your first time is just like the point, but then like you're pausing and like you're really emphasizing it.
Okay.
Second time.
Okay, I'll say it again. One has to learn to completely love themselves, every bit of them, before they could ever let someone else love them. In my scenario, I relied on past boyfriends to provide that love. So when I was single, it was time to fall back in love with myself, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with loving yourself. Okay, now, well, since I'm taking, okay, can I just say I know? This is, no, because you said no. Because it's now an awkward transition.
I was going to ask, is this supposed to be transition to your conclusion?
Kinda. No.
No.
Kinda. Well, okay, I could reword it and been like, I feel so passionate about this topic because I'm really tired of being that RA, blah, blah, blah.
You don't even say I'm tired of being that RA. You can just say I'm that RA who hears
okay, good.
your students. Because, like, again,
tired
it sounds like
like
you're complaining. And, like, obviously you don't want to complain about your job.
Yeah, true.
So, try, what was it? Try just going, your transition can go into I'm that RA who hears.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with loving yourself. I am that RA on campus, always hearing my female residents in my resident hall complain that they are single. They complain that they want a boyfriend to spend Valentine's Day with, go to the movies, have fun with, meet their parents. But it kind of occurred to me, are they really in love or in love with the image of love? I want this presentation to change the way we see someone not having a boyfriend or girlfriend. I want being single to represent independence and patience as we wait for that special, significant other later in life. My message to you all, make the choice that is best for you. Do not be a, quote, me and be with a drug dealer, unless you are just into that type of scene. In that case, marry the drug dealer. However, you do not have any obligation to be with someone. Embrace your loneliness and not having the feeling of being tied down. If you are struggling with the idea of being single, whether you recently broke up with a significant other or you are tired of being single for a long period of time, things will get better. Plus, that post-breakup glow is very real.
Okay. All right. Where exactly does your conclusion start? Because I'm having
I said it starts at, I want this presentation to change the way we see.
Okay. And then I know I asked you earlier if you had like 3 points to come up. I know we seem to have like 2 distinctive ones. That it's a choice to be single and that being single is a time for you to understand yourself. Mm-hmm. Is there a way for you to kind of overview those again?
Yeah, okay.
That way the audience, because like when Mary is probably handing peer reviews or peer evaluations, she's going to ask like, what were their points?
Yeah.
So that way you just want to get those out of the way. Because it took me a minute. I remember when I first was listening, I was writing down point 1, point 2, and there was no point 3, which is not a bad thing. You don't need to have 3 points for every speech. So I think finding a way to transition into that conclusion, if you pause right before saying, I want this presentation to be, except you said that earlier, so you can say, just even say this presentation is supposed to be, or not even supposed, is, like, be very confident in what you want this to be. So go a sentence before your conclusion.
Okay. They complain they want a boyfriend to spend Valentine's Day with, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now conclusion. I want this presentation to change the way we see someone not having a boyfriend or girlfriend. I want being single to represent independence and patience as we wait for our special, significant other later in life. My message to you all, make the choice that is best for you. Do not be a me and be with a drug dealer. Unless you are into that type of scene. In that case, marry the drug dealer. However, you do not have any obligation to be with someone. Embrace your loneliness and not having the feeling of being tied down. If you are struggling with the idea of being single, whether you recently broke up with a significant other or you are tired of being single for a long period of time, things will get better. Plus, that post-breakup glow is real.
Okay. It kind of just ends. Is
I
there
know.
a way to...
Yeah.
We need to find a way to give
Yeah.
a good ending to that. So I want to look at that conclusion real quick, and because there was something I saw that I was like, oh, I really you need to say my message to you all.
Okay.
I think you could just say, make the choice that is best for you. Yeah. We need something you're gonna have to work on this week is finding a good ending point. Whether it's maybe finding a picture of you maybe being single and living your life, and maybe showing like this was me in my 3-year drug dealing relationship.
That's what I planned on
Here's
doing.
me now, and something, and then you could talk about then you could say look at that post-glow breakup. It's real. So that could help maybe with your conclusion.
Yeah, my visual aids and all that.
And have you been, I know I've been giving you a lot of feedback. Have you been able to mark at all in your script of things to cut and such? Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure. What questions do you have for me, since I know I've given you a lot, so I don't know if you have anything.
None. Definitely my intro, I think, is good. I think with the visual aids, it will help, though, you know, provide more kind of flow to it.
What kind of visual aids, besides your photos and your past relationships, are you going to have other things throughout it?
Honestly, I'm going to use a lot of personal pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't know. I don't know yet.
Are you timing your slides, or are you going to just go back?
I'm going to click. Yeah, cool. I know they can't be up for more than 2 minutes, so I'm with a lot, I think it'll be good.
Mm-hmm. And then I think something else that during the week to work on, you don't give your speech until...
I give it first day, Wednesday.
Oh, same time as me. Okay, now I did see. That helps. So then something that to work on, because we more looked at how you were delivering certain things and cutting certain things, working on your body language. I noticed when you put your iPad down, you're definitely talking more with your hands.
I definitely am not honestly worried about the body language. It's just once I practice it more.
Mm-hmm. It'll make you more confident.
Yeah, more confident and more memorized.
Because right now when you're talking... I can tell here you're pretty good, but then here you're slouched.
Yeah.
Or this. So and then finding those ways when I was telling you he did this, I did that. That was really good. That really helped. I think emphasize during that point. It was point 1.
Yeah.
It was right in the middle of it, and then I think. What else did I write down? I'm just looking to see what else I wrote down. Because I think we've done a couple of cuts. I think we've done a lot of feedback. I know. I really love the idea of talking about being single.
Yeah.
I think people don't talk about it enough. They complain about it more. So I think it's great that you're talking about the perks of it.
Yeah.
All right, I want to do one more section.
Okay.
And just to see how things were. And I think from there we'll be able to transition out to our conclusion of this coaching session. So let's go back to your intro, because you said that was your favorite part.
Okay.
But do it again without maybe holding your so much.
All right.
And I just want to see you maybe utilize your space and go for it.
Okay. Ready? We have spent a whole semester together, so I'm really ready to share about my love life. It's nothing too exciting, but here it is. This is a picture of my first love and first kiss, and also my ex-boyfriend. For the sake of his privacy, we will call him Nathan. We were together for 3.5 years, beginning my sophomore year of high school and ending in college. It was a very happy and healthy relationship. In this picture, we were in San Francisco, so we obviously enjoyed traveling together to different places. Someone to have activities with. He supported me in my sports. I went to his sports. A lot of amazing memories in a very healthy relationship. Until I found out he was a drug dealer. So there went that relationship. Moving on to college, there was another guy. Again, for the sake of his privacy, we will call him Andrew. He was a great guy, met in one of my classes. We got along really, really well. Went out a lot, went to the library a lot. Even took him home to meet my parents. They liked him. That was a good sign. I went to his hometown. I met his parents. I think they liked me. Another good sign. And then I found out he was seeing some girls behind my back. So there went another relationship. Now, I'm 21 years old and single. But I say that with a lot of pride. But can I just go one family holiday where I'm not bombarded by my grandma, aunts, and cousins asking if I'm seeing someone? When will I see someone? When will I get married? When will I have kids? Because honestly, I don't know the answer, and I'm already dreading Thanksgiving this year. And then I move into bottom.
Okay. Yeah. So how did you feel about that? Not looking down as much? Because
No, I
saw a lot of really good hand gestures when you said, I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do that. Your story about your first boyfriend versus your second, I can tell. I mean, you were with one of them longer than the other.
Yeah.
Is there a way for you to kind of be more cohesive with that first one? Because you just kind of kept going.
I know.
Mainly
because I don't have it written down, so I'm just rambling at that point.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with rambling as long as there's sort of an organized rambling. That's
I feel
an oxymoron. But finding a way to be what you said, you traveled. You said you went to each other's sports, so you got along.
It was happy and healthy, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you find out I was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. The second story is actually not true at all.
What do you mean?
It's not true. I've never saw a guy named whatever his name is, and I've never been cheated on.
Wait.
I'm just doing that for the purpose of this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
The drug dealing one is real, but
okay.
Second guy, the picture I use, he's honestly just a friend.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, can I borrow a picture of us? I'm going to blur out your face. He said, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just doing it for the speech.
Okay. Well,
It goes to the story. I haven't had a second boyfriend, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, no, that's fine. That's good. That's good. Fine to know. That'll be interesting.
I know. So I'm afraid, if people Instagram stalk me, they find the picture and they're like, "Fuck, you were cheating on her." I'll be like, "No, guys, no, he didn't do it." Yeah. Okay.
I think once again, work throughout the week on just your body language, and then I think
just practicing.
It's going to be all about practicing.
I'm hoping the visual aids help make it flow, and I think they will.
Mm-hmm. And I think between, I'm seeing you on Sunday at some point for you to tell me every little bit of detail about my speech. So I think we could just follow up off camera, obviously, and just be like, how we doing?
Yeah.
And I think you got this. You go Wednesday probably after it's Hetty?
I don't know the order at all.
Well, you go the same
I just know Wednesday.
So
I kind of wanted to go first-ish.
First-ish? Well, I think
first-ish. I like to go first.
Okay.
Except for the legislative.
Well, that means we're going to see a really great presentation first.
Yeah.
You got this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Good.
Ready?
Yeah.